Welcome back to the Reeducation Camp podcast. Karen O'Toole hanging out with Colin Miller on this Friday evening. And Colin, we've got a lot to get into. We got to start with a big issue this week, Qatar cash. President Trump apparently saying that he will accept on behalf of the Department of Defense this $400 million airplane. And I want to just start by saying that I'm deeply offended by this move on behalf of the president. And I have to say why. It is because I have yet to receive a dollar, a dime, a penny from the Qataris. And I'm kind of feeling left out, quite frankly. It seems like Tucker Carlson's hanging out with them, Kash Patel lobbied for them, Pam Bondi. It's like every university in America pretty much has gotten money from them. But like, why haven't we? Why aren't they just sending us universal basic income at this point? I don't know. What are your
I know.
thoughts?
I recently learned of this country's existence within the past year. And by the way, is it Qatar or is it Qatar? Because I hear some
Okay,
people say
it's Qatar.
Qatar. It
Okay,
is?
so I will actually, okay, so I took Arabic. So my teacher, she was from Iraq, and she used to say it's that deep-throated Semitic thing that they do over there, like the Hebrew and but it's like
Hmm.
kata, kata is how she would say it, like kata, like in her throat. But they also say gutter, gutter. So like kind of like a gutter, but so
So it's Qatar.
so it's this is hard. Did you hear that? That's the second time my phone did that, where it just like,
Is your phone actively listening to us?
I think it is. I think it's possessed. This is the second time where it said it was forwarded to voicemail, like somebody was calling me, but
Hmm.
it told me that okay, I don't know. It was my brother birth time. So Michael, you're gonna have to, if you want to talk to me, you have to listen to the show. Anyway, so anyhow, so like you said, it's well that actually I think is by design. I think that the Qataris they want to be stealth. I believe that they don't want all of us to necessarily catch
Be
on to what's
privy.
going on. Yes, but honestly, like as I was thinking about this with Trump, now I don't think the optics are great. It just doesn't seem like a good idea. And I sure as hell would not fly in that plane if I were president. Okay. Like he doesn't even like take food from other people. So you're really going
Yeah,
to
I
get in
saw that
a jet
he denied coffee. Coffee was offered to him at one of these meetings in the
in
Middle
Saudi
East
Arabia and he
and he didn't
didn't.
take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good
Yeah. He
call.
just
Good
sat
call on
there
his
like,
part.
yeah. But so, so you're going to get in an aircraft? Like, I don't know.
You know what though? It was probably just something that they kind of had laying around. They were like, "Oh
Yeah.
shit, we need to give this. We need some sort of like a peace offering." And like they had this
Yeah.
like dilapidated jet like sitting in a hangar somewhere, and they just sort of like wheeled it out as a
Yeah.
just it's like sort of like if you were trying to put together like a birthday present or a Christmas present at the last minute, like you're like going around the house just trying to like find like old shit that you don't use anymore and you just like wrap it up like it's a new that sort of a deal. That's what I think that was, to be
I think
honest with
you're
you.
right. It's probably just like Osama bin Laden's plane. Like it
Yeah,
was like
probably.
they're like,
Probably.
"Oh shoot, where the heck don't we have something?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
Osama bin Laden's jet that we paid for." Like, can we do
Good
if he was
enough.
even
Give it to
real?
him.
Who even knows at
Grab
this
yeah. Well, I
point?
mean,
Yeah, like who even knows? The Qataris probably invented him, but like it's probably a figment of our imagination. But he's off somewhere in the deep ocean somewhere right now. His corpse is just
he
at the
would always look
bottom,
different in the videos that they
Marianas
would show.
Trench.
Remember, like
Yeah.
he would always look like a little bit different in each video.
Yeah.
And like somehow he would get these he would leak these videos somehow despite like always traveling on foot from like cave to cave. It was really very it was very sus as
Oh,
the kids would
definitely.
say.
Oh, completely. But yeah, I don't think the optics look good. It's a little confusing. Although I will say, like, at this point, Trump might trust them more than Boeing or anybody from the
I would.
government to
I
construct
would
this
fly
thing.
in
Yeah.
a Qatari plane over. I mean, I haven't flown since 2020, I don't think. The last time I flew was at the height of the pandemic when I went to Las Vegas, and I haven't flown anywhere since. And I don't know, I'm a little bit leery to fly commercial. I feel like the only time I would fly again is if I could charter my own plane and fly private.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because I actually know someone who is rather wealthy and he actually prefers to fly commercial because he always insists that
Hmm.
those jets are actually safer. He does sometimes fly private, but he always insists that those are actually safer planes. And yeah, I'm not an expert, not an aviation
I'm thinking
expert.
more about the cushiness and the convenience of it all. Really, like I don't want to
The
be around other
luxury.
people. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you're luxurious.
Yeah,
You're
I want a cushy
luxurious.
experience. I don't want to be
Yeah.
around other people. I don't want to
You
be
want to be
cooped
in the
up.
Qatari plane. You're accepting
Right,
the $400 million plane.
right. Or Andrew
Uh,
Tate's plane. Have you ever seen his private jet? Have you ever seen him give a
no,
tour? He's
no.
got like this palace in the sky, basically, with a shower and an office and the whole nine yards. And that's how I always pictured myself, like not sitting in coach with the scum, like flying private in a
In the
luxurious,
palace.
yeah, right, in
Yes.
the palace, exactly. But I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Miller, we're here for you. We can get you
Yeah.
whatever you need right now. Just be comfortable.
Yeah, correct. And these would be like attractive, like old-fashioned, like airline
Like Britney Spears in the
stewardess.
Toxic video.
Exactly, like Brittany in the toxic video, like an old-fashioned stewardess
Pan
is what they used to
America.
call them.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
I totally get it. Where the hell is Andrew Tate even flying to? Like, isn't he like not allowed to leave the country? Like I came
No, he
here.
can now.
Oh,
He
okay, he
he's
can.
allowed to leave Romania. I know he has a place in Dubai. I think he
Okay, so he has
recently,
places to go. Okay.
yeah, Miami. I think he recently got a place in Miami down here. So
Well, we need to go to Tate Academy so that we too, if we just spend $50 in 3 months, we will also have a palace in the sky. It's just simply, it's in the stars. But we have to put in the work. We have to
every
go to
time I
Tate
see the ad,
Academy.
I'm telling you, I think like $50 and maybe, I mean, maybe this is real. Maybe I could attain some skills here. Maybe they really will show me how to become a millionaire and like I could really generate some generational wealth here. I don't know how exactly, but I'm always very tempted. Like I said to you today, I've spent more on the stupidest things that I don't even want to tell you about, like the stupid amounts of money I've spent on stupid things. So $50 to sign up for Andrew Tate's Academy, that it might be worth it.
Well, the Qataris should be paying it for
They should.
you. Like they should, I mean, honestly, they should, like I
It's
said,
like my
they should be
tuition.
just sending a, like if they really want to influence the US, like just start sending us checks. Like if one day I just got, like, I'm going to think good of them just like Steve Witkoff thinks well of
Hmm.
them because they bailed him out of like six to the tune of like $600 million. He was invested in, I think, like Park Place Hotel and the Qatari Sovereign Fund uh bailed him out and bought out his stake in it. And now he's like over there meeting with it. It's actually crazy. I don't know if you knew this. This was news to me. Pam Bondi, our AG, was a lobbyist for Qatar. Kash Patel was a consultant with to Qatar. And yeah, there's a few like Lee Zeldin, who's with the EPA. He has ties. Susie Wiles does too. There's about six
Hmm.
big players in the Trump administration that are tied in, and like I do have to say, like as much as I'm being like tongue cheek about it, it is interesting. It seems like there's this covert war going on between like Israel and these like Arab states trying to influence, like pull the strings in the United States right now. And like let's be real, if that was Biden, I'm not saying Trump in his defense, this is all above the surface. Like we can see what's going on. He's addressing it publicly. It's not behind the scenes. To me, it's actually more of the lower level people that it seems a little bit more sinister. But I
Hmm.
do have to say, if that was Biden, the right would be freaking out right
Oh, you
now.
would
And
see every
MAGA's, yeah.
conservative pundit online, like DC Drano and all these characters, coming up with little nicknames for Biden, like Qatari Biden or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Qatari bucks or yeah.
yeah. There is such a double standard there with these influencers, honestly,
Well,
and
my brother always says like it's team sports. Like people just see it
oh,
as
it
like they're
is.
on a team. Well, I'm not on any of these teams, okay? There's no Karen in team. Okay? So,
No.
yeah, like there's no Karen in Republican, there's no Karen in Democrat, and guess what? There is a Karen in Qatar. If they just send me some cash, I'll tell you where to send it to. I can give you my bank information. That needs to be the new scam. Remember there was like the Nigerian princess?
Oh
There's
yeah,
going to
I
be like the
remember.
Qatari premier is going to be like starting to contact you and be like, I love you. We want to send you money. We love your country. You just send us your bank information. Just send us $100 and that'll be the next scam that's going
We
on.
need
But it's
somebody from Qatar to view our podcast, and I
yes.
don't know. I feel like somebody there with some wealth would like it and perhaps want
Yeah.
to sponsor us and cut us a check to say certain things. I'm
Knowing,
open to a
yeah,
lot.
knowing how much they're spending, like this ungodly amount of money, you know that they're paying for so many different content creators. And actually, I got to be honest with you, I was digging into a little bit of this today, like reading the Wall Street Journal, the Free Press articles about it, and actually credit to Steven Crowder. He did like a really good video like a month ago about this. Um, but just reading into it a little bit, I was thinking to myself how it's probably very there's probably some truth to the fact that the rise of a lot of these influencers or these pundits we see that seem to be like meteoric, like they're coming out of nowhere, they're coming out of left field.
Hmm.
I am starting to think that like no, there's like people say that, but like we know that Tim Pool had money from that Russian group. There's a couple different
Tenant
individuals that had
media.
money from Russia. And if we know Qatar is spending that much money, we've got to assume that some of these people, and I'm not saying Tim Pool, I'm not saying, I know we all know that Tucker Carlson sat down with the premier of Qatar and was very like friendly. He's gone on record saying they're our greatest ally. Now, in his defense, he has also said that he has not taken any money from them. So that's what he has said.
Well,
That is
Tucker's got
all.
contacts.
Yeah, yeah. He
Tucker's
doesn't
got
even need their
contacts.
money. He doesn't need their money. Let's be real.
No.
But but yeah, so it's yeah, you've got to think that, and I'm not just saying about Qatar. There's probably so many other foreign, like if anything, Trump has actually revealed this whole plane saga that he's done out in the open has actually exposed Cutter in a sense. If you're asking me, like, no, I think that this actually put it on the radar, whereas before it was kind of just like murmuring here and there, like we heard about it here. And I have to tell you, a couple months ago, I think back in January, for some reason I was looking into some group, I think it was Brookings Institution. They were like one of the biggest recipients of Cutter Cash. And I was looking in the Brookings Institute and I like sent it to somebody and I was like, wow, like they've gotten all this money from Cutter. This is like unbelievable. But then I was so shocked. I'm not going to go on and say exactly who it was, but I was so shocked that this other group had also received uh Cutter Cash as well. Like it really like
Hmm.
it was like in the Matrix moment where I was like, "Oh my gosh, everybody is just getting foreign money. Like this is just like the name of the game." And we talked about this during the election and I feel like this applies here too, that everybody wants to believe that the world works like a Marvel or a DC comic, a superhero movie, and where we have the good guys and the bad guys, and it's black and white, and it's dark versus light. to me, the only place where that actually exists is like the spiritual realm. When you talk about like God, okay? Outside of that, I really feel like it's closer to the Sopranos. I feel like you never
Absolutely.
quite know, like it's almost like finding out, like growing up in America, I feel like it's finding out that your dad is Tony Soprano. Like you look at, like, you're like, yeah, my dad's the man. He provides all this good stuff for me. We live in this awesome house. But then like you start to get a little bit older and you're like, wait, how do we get all this money? And like, why do we have it so good in this country? And why are things kind of good here by and large compared to the rest of the world? And you start to realize like, oh, dad's making deals with people that maybe isn't that guy like evil? Like when you think about Saudi Arabia, like
Mm-hmm.
so clearly, like there, I was just listening to I think it was a Wall Street Journal video, and they were talking about like calling Saudi Arabia like moderate. I'm like, moderate? Like that's,
Didn't
that's
they chop up that journalist not too long ago?
yeah.
That journalist went
Khashoggi.
there. They chopped
Hmm.
him up.
Yeah, yeah. They crucified people in
Hmm.
the 2020s, and it's
I guess that's
moderate.
moderate
Yeah,
nowadays.
that's moderate because they have oil money. Like, what are we talking about here? But like I said, I think that the world operates far more like The Sopranos, and I believe government, even our government, works a little bit more like the mafia than we quite comprehend. But
Yeah, well, it's all about the big mamoo, like Cosmo Kramer would say. It's all about the it's all about the Benjamins, Everybody's cutting deals, trying to get their own cut for themselves. That's just life.
yeah, yeah. And
What could I say?
yeah, really the point is I can give you my bank information. Okay. So if Cutter would like to reach out to us, just send a comment below, give me an email to reach you, and we will sing the praises. We will sit here and talk about how Cutter, like Tucker Carlson, we can say that Cutter is a democracy. I don't know if he said
Yeah,
that, but
I
their
don't think
greatest
could be.
ally.
What do I
They're,
know?
yeah, like
Sure,
they
why
seem
not?
cool. Yeah, like
I don't
so
even
they have
need to do any
people
research.
working slave wages. I mean, whatever. Like, I don't know. Just send
We
me,
we have that here to a certain
yeah,
extent.
exactly. So, Cutter, just reach out to us. We will be happy. If you would like to make us rich and famous, we will gladly accept your cash. But nonetheless, moving on, I do want to talk about Cash Patel a little bit. Oh, wait, do we want to talk about?
Well, listen. While you brought up Cash Patel, last week I had mentioned how like we had Trump has got this influencer cabinet basically.
You're on the
And of
money. You're on
and
the
of course, the
money.
only the only influencer who's not allowed in the influencer cabinet is, of course, Laura Loomer, who we all know and love. For whatever reason, she
Mhm.
is she is banned. She's the only influencer who's banned. But Cash Patel, do you know where I saw him for the first time and became aware of his existence? It was on Tim Pool years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
Like there
Yeah.
you go. Like on an influencer's podcast, that's how I became aware of Cash Patel. So
Yeah, I knew about him because I believe he wrote a book. And if you look at the book cover, it's like him, it's him like walking in front of like a helicopter and like looking like badass. And I
hmm
don't even know exactly what he did in the first
I'm
administration.
not sure. Some sort of intelligence role. I still can't
Wait,
get over his
go ahead, go
photo,
ahead.
like his FBI photo. Have you ever seen that picture where
Yeah.
his like eyes are just bulging out of his skull
I'm looking at it
practically?
right now on Wikipedia.
Like I see that photo everywhere. I see that photo like once a day, I swear.
He looks kind of like a frog in this picture. Like sometimes he kind of looks good, and then sometimes he
Yeah.
looks like almost handsome. Maybe
Yeah,
he had
yeah.
plastic surgery. I don't
Yeah,
know.
sometimes he looks cool, but that FBI photo, man, that portrait with the eyes just bulging,
Yeah,
it's
so
not
now
very I think he was trying to look like badass, but it's
So wait, so national security, public defender, and federal prosecutor, and then he worked in intelligence or something. Okay, that's not the point. I'm not even.
what was the point?
The point is, Cash Patel's not doing his job, which I commend him for.
No,
Okay.
he's at UFC, hanging out with Mel Gibson at
So,
UFC. Now he's calling in James Comey because James Comey posted a picture of seashells. Uh, it's very important business. Forget about the Epstein files. Forget, you're never going to see those. They don't exist. They've been destroyed. We need to prosecute James Comey for posting a picture
on
of the seagulls
Instagram, on
on Instagram.
Instagram.
Yes, or on Twitter or whatever it was.
No, I think it was on Instagram, which honestly, the idea of James Comey just like posting on Instagram from his beach vacation is so hilarious to me. Like,
Yeah, like
there's
uh,
something like so pathetic about it for some reason that I'm just like, these people are just morons, like sitting at the beach, like going on Instagram, and you think that they're like running the world. And that's like where my issue with like some of the conspiracy theories kind of stops. Like everybody
mhm.
believes that the world is so much more structured than it is. But the closer you get to the top, you realize that like nobody knows what they're doing. They're all emotionally children and they're actually not quite as intelligent as you think you are. And I have to say, I'm pretty sure Ben Shapiro has also said that. He's gone on record saying the same thing. And I think now there are some really intelligent, calculative, manipulative individuals out there. I'm not saying that there's not some people,
Sure.
but I don't feel like I think we give the world too much credit. Like we give these systems way too much credit and it's actually a lot more chaotic than we believe. And Cash Patel is so this article came from the Independent UK that said fears are growing that FBI Director Kash Patel is not taking the job as seriously as he should be. Which, yeah, he was just like on the podcast circuit for the last 3 years. Why should he be working that hard?
Yeah, he's probably not doing anything. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. He's doing nothing. Most of
So
these people are probably not doing much of anything.
yes, so it says after reportedly upending the normal briefing schedule and spending much of his time hanging out with celebrities at sporting events, directors of the bureau typically attend a daily 8:30 a.m. meeting during which they are briefed on the most significant intelligence and law enforcement information uh, put together by thousands of analysts. But on Wednesday afternoons, the FBI boss also typically holds a secure video teleconference with the leaders of a national field offices to share information about Bureau priorities. However, sources have told NBC News that unlike his predecessors, Patel has taken to shifting the daily morning briefing to just 2 days a week. I mean, do we really need it every day?
Yeah, like
Like,
why
do
would
we
you need a
really?
briefing every single day? And do you want to be hit with that first thing in the morning?
Yeah,
Like I don't know
8:30 is a
about
little
you.
early.
I feel
Mm,
like like the first hour of the workday in general doesn't even really count, if you know what I mean. Like
no.
you need that hour to sort of like ease into things, have your
Well,
coffee.
yeah,
You're still
yeah,
waking up at that point. So I
yeah.
can't say I blame him, honestly,
I
for
mean, he's up late at UFC events. Do you really expect him to come in and do this every day at
oh,
8:30? Like,
I'd be
what
so
is?
pissed off if somebody was trying to give me like I get mad when people say good morning like at the start of the workday. So I can't imagine somebody coming to me with like this, some sort of a briefing. Like dude, I'm barely like alive right now. Like don't
Yeah,
no, we'll do this a couple times a week, maybe later in the day, like maybe like oh, I don't know, like right before lunch, like noon, like right before you go to lunch, just to sort of because you don't want to be hit with it after lunch either. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. You
you
don't want
don't
to unsettle your stomach. Like,
right,
that's
right.
not
You don't
acceptable.
want it first
Yeah.
thing in the morning. You don't want it after lunch. So maybe just like really quick, limit it to like sort of like a bite-sized version. Like have them
Yeah.
like punch it into Chat GPT and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
Chat GPT, make this as brief as possible in bullet points." And then like you just print it out and he gives it a
Yeah.
gander.
He's like, can I get
Yeah.
some kind of AI? Can't ChatGPT just run the FBI? What the hell am I doing?
It probably could, truth be
Yeah.
told. Like,
I gotta go show up to the beach and arrest Comey. So,
by the way, James Comey posting that picture, that's something that like liberal women who I used to work with at the dispensary, like I used to work with like a lot of liberals, as you can imagine, and like some of the women, like I could picture them like posting that like on their beach vacations with their families, like, oh, look what
yeah.
I found on the shore. The everybody in the world is waking up. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that is
no,
such a
completely.
feminine
Yeah. So just
thing
so
to
everybody
do.
knows, this Instagram post, it's like seashells that he made into, or something like that. He made into 8647. So Trump's the
Yeah.
47th president. 86 means like a restaurant thing, like get rid of them, like eject them. And now
Yeah, do
it's
away with
also
it.
gone in a connotation that means kill them. So and now they're trying to say that it was an assassination claim. I don't think that that's what he meant by it. I think he meant just get rid of him, get him out of here. But of course, Trump's like just fueling, putting fuel on the fire, and he's like, it was an assassination
Oh yeah, and even
Instagram
Tulsi
post.
Gabbard's like on Fox News talking about how it was an assassination threat, and like meanwhile, like Jack Posobiec like tweeted 8646, like that was an actual tweet by Jack Posobiec. So like
Yeah, did they
he was
arrest him?
no, he wasn't investigated or anything. So like I don't know, it's everything is so stupid. Everything is so
Yeah, you're like, we just want jobs in Ohio. I don't want you freaking getting planes from Qatar. I don't want you arresting James Comey for a stupid Instagram picture. I want jobs in Ohio. I want people to be able to get on, not be in such a despair that they just have to kill themselves or start taking or unalive themselves. I can't even say kill or suicide
yeah, you
anymore.
can't even.
Suicide, suicide, suicide.
This
Arrest
episode's
me,
our
okay?
channel's gonna be deleted now. Our career is over before it even
Like, I
started.
cannot
Great.
stand, I can't even tell you how aggravated I get when I hear somebody say unalive.
I
It's
know it's so
kill.
childish.
And I
Unalive. We're like,
understand why they do it. Like, I get it because they don't want to be canceled. But
we're not
I'm
playing on Xbox though. Like that sounds like something like if you're playing like Call of Duty with your buddies on Xbox, like they make you say unalive. Like that's it's so gamer. It's like we're bringing in like gamer lingo
ugh.
into
Where is
everyday
the
conversation.
freaking MP? Okay. Trump, you want to get things back on track? Just shut down the internet. Just go to the deep sea
Oh,
cables, cut them. All right.
yeah, I thought the Houthis were gonna do that. Like, weren't they all about? They
Yeah.
were all about like cutting cables for a while, and then that I guess that
No, now
stopped.
they're over. They're like literally just like they're like on yachts. Like they're like pirates. They literally look like a Captain Morgan's commercial. Like when you watch videos of the Houthis, you're like, are we supposed to be at the beach? What the hell is this? Anyway, I'm sorry. Cash Patel. Okay, folks. So two former FBI officials said, okay, so we have two friggin' narcs, okay? So, two former FBI and Justice Department officials said he also stopped the Wednesday conference. Who are these tryhards that are so obsessed with this? Why do they want to work so much? Anyway,
I know everybody's so
it's,
obsessed with work
I
in
know,
this
right?
country. That's another problem with this country. Everybody's like, "Oh, what's your side hustle? You got to keep grinding." Oh, I hate that expression. Just keep
Ugh.
grinding.
No, I want a lunch, okay? I want to go to brunch. I don't
Yeah,
want to
I want an
grind.
hour siesta. I want
Yeah.
a hot croissant in the morning with a French press coffee.
At nine
That's
o'clock.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, nine
Yeah.
o'clock, not at
Yeah.
7.
Not
I'll still be
8:30.
sleeping. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
we're not having press briefings or
no.
whatever briefings. All right, so it also says behavior has raised concerns that he's not taking the position seriously, adding that those who worked on the daily morning briefings have been told that the schedule was changed because Patel sometimes failed to arrive on time. This guy, I actually think I like him more. So then it also said that Patel has been pictured alongside his boss, DJT, and other celebrities at various events, including the UFC. He's a clear fan after it was previously reported that he considered bringing in trainers from the UFC to beef up agents' martial arts and self defense skills. Where
Ooh.
in God's name do we find these people to run our government? Like, we
Uh,
need J. Edgar Hoover in here. We need a man in a dress. Okay.
yeah, we
That's
need
what
more.
we
We need
need.
more cross dressers. We thought we needed
Yes.
less of that, but turns
We
out we need
actually,
more of that. As it turns out, those were the normies. As it
yeah,
turns
that's
out,
true.
those were like the more conservative normies, that we
Oh my
used to
God.
have.
That's true. We need Biden was on the right path. We need the cross dressers back in the FBI because they do a better job.
Yeah.
Even though I think J. Edgar Hoover mostly just targeted like his enemies, like he just used the
Yeah.
FBI to just go
Well,
after. But at least he showed up at 8:30. Okay, at least he
Right,
came to
right.
work on time. It
Did
wasn't
you
a
ever see the
U.
Clint Eastwood movie with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Oh,
J. Edgar?
I don't think that I did see it. I'm sure
You
it's
should
really
check that
good
out. It's
though.
good.
Okay, I
Yeah.
should. Okay. All right. But yeah, I think like you said, it's really just like an influencer cabinet. It's not like anybody. How are we supposed to take this country seriously at this
We're
point? I
not.
don't even like how are we supposed to show up to work when it's like this is what's going on from a day-to-day basis?
I
Like,
know we're
why
gonna
are we
waste our time
expected?
at work,
Yeah.
like while all this nonsense is going on and these cartoon characters are running around. And then like I love some of the other cabinet members. I love like they find these bimbos. And I stress the word bimbos. Like we have like these bleach blonde bimbos that are like, like Pam Bondi. Like what is she doing? Is she doing anything? Like
Well,
is
she
she
was lobbying for Qatar before,
okay?
so
She was lobbying for what's she doing now as the head of
yeah, yeah. Well, not
the
releasing the
attorney?
Epstein files. She's not doing that. Okay,
We
but
needed
she's
Matt
probably
Gates. That's the
skipping the
one
freaking
guy.
who?
We needed Matt Gates. That was the one guy who probably
Yes.
would have done something because he's obviously out of his mind.
Yeah.
Like he's got the crazy Mar-a-Lago face. He's out of his mind. I think he actually would have done stuff though.
Well, he looks like a character from Beavis and Butthead, and it's interesting. And I mean that in a nice way. Like, I'm not
Oh
trying
yeah.
to, he seems like a fun guy. He's more than welcome to come on the show. But the interesting thing about Matt Gates is how he went from like almost being like the AG to like now he's just like like you said, like he's just like an influencer. Oh yeah,
He's
Judge Janine is going to be the interim.
oh yeah, you told me that last week. Yeah.
Yeah, the interim acting like a U.S. attorney for Washington, D.C. It's like, does that lady actually know what she's doing? Like, do these
Oh, you
people
know who I do
know?
like though? The new the head of why am I drawing a blank now, Karen? There's a new woman who was hired as the head, was it the head of the FDA? Oh, I can't remember, but she's like really into like holistic everything, and she claimed that like doing mushrooms helped her
Who,
find
Marianne
love.
Williamson?
No, 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 not Marianne Williamson.
Th- That's interesting. I don't know if I
I
am
have got to look
familiar
this
with
up now.
her.
I'm such an
The FDA,
unprofessional.
the FDA, it is, I believe, I do believe there's a woman in charge of the FDA, but I'm not sure who.
I have got to look this up. I'm trying a few keywords. Oh, the Surgeon General. There we go. Trump's new Surgeon General nominee. Magic mushrooms helped me. This is a CNN headline. I love this woman already. She is awesome. I think
Just
that she.
before we got on this podcast, I was watching a video from like the Wall Street Journal about these like submarines that transport cocaine across like the Atlantic Ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, can't we just legalize this stuff? Like, can we just stop all this madness? Like, our government's like chasing people in these like makeshift submarines and wasting all this money. It's like, you know what? If it's going to cost the country too much money for Air Force One, it's costing us too much money to enforce all these drug laws. Okay. So just like
Absolutely.
legalize it all. This is
Let
just
people
so
do what they want,
outrageous.
and if people go overboard and they OD, that's really their problem at the end of the day. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like we can't be saving everybody. We can't be everybody's parent. But No, real quick here. I did just pull up an article from the Daily Mail. Okay, so Trump cabinet pick used same illegal psychedelic to find love that Prince Harry has admitted to using.
Well,
Casey
it didn't work.
Means.
Okay.
Casey Means, President Donald Trump's.
Oh, Casey Means. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is his cabinet pick for Surgeon General. Spoke favorably about the use of psychedelic mushrooms to help treat her mental anxiety and find love. Means wrote about the use of psychedelic mushrooms, which is psilocybin therapy, in her 2024 book, Good Energy. I love this woman, where she said she personally experienced the benefits of the treatment. If you feel called, I also encourage, this is a quote, if you feel called, I also encourage you to explore intentional guided psilocybin therapy, she wrote. Strong scientific evidence suggests that this psychedelic therapy can be one of the most meaningful experiences of life for some people, as they have been for me. Okay, this woman needs to be the Surgeon General, like right now. Like I bet she's done tarot readings as well too. I bet she's also consulted with a medium, as I have in the past. I'm all about this
Yeah,
woman.
she's gonna be like every hospital needs Reiki and crystals.
Yeah,
Stat.
yeah, amen. It's about time. I'm 100% on board with her.
Well, speaking of just how outrageous everything has become, it really just feels like we're living in a meme full time. We do
Yeah.
have to talk about a big feud going on, and it's not Palestine versus Israel, okay? That's taking a back
hmm
seat.
Yeah, that's like old hat now. That's
That's
like
old.
yesterday's news.
Now, as of the recording of this podcast, there has been no response from one party, that party being Taylor Swift. But our dear president, our fearless leader, made sure that he put Taylor in her place this morning at 9:21 when Kash Patel was just strolling into work. Our dear president was already tweeting, and he tweeted, has any, or he posted on Truth Social. I'm sorry, he
He
truthed.
truthed.
He truthed. Has anyone noticed that since I said I hate Taylor Swift, all caps, she's no longer, in quotations, hot question mark? That is all he wrote. So that created, of course, a firestorm. And like I said, I don't see that Taylor has responded to these shots fired. But you and I think, had the same take on this. Well, how did you read what Trump was trying to say about her being hot?
He wasn't talking about her physical appearance. He was basically saying
Agreed.
that her star has fallen as of
Yeah.
late. Her popularity, the
Yes.
Taylor Swift phenomena, the mania has sort of waned a bit. And I've felt that personally as of late. I feel like we don't talk about her on, I mean, she used to be like more of a focal point of this podcast, and I feel like we don't
This
even
used to
really
be a
talk
Taylor
about her.
Swift podcast.
Yeah. Basically, this used to be a Taylor Swift podcast, but now like we don't talk about her as much. We sort of made the transition to Sabrina Carpenter. She's more of our speed now.
Taste,
She's
yeah.
like our girl. So yeah, that's how I took it. You took it the same way, but other people I think thought that he was saying that she's not as attractive, I
Yeah, I
suppose.
didn't appreciate. Like Jack Posobiec tweeted that he was like, she chubbed up. I'm like, what? This
She
is
looks
like,
exactly the same as she
she
always
looks
has. Get out
good.
of town.
Stop it. Yeah,
He
like because
always
she's,
tweets the stupidest stuff though. Like
yeah,
like if I could just go off on like a mini Jack
yes, go
Posobiec
ahead.
rant for a
Yeah,
moment.
that's what we're
He
here
said
for.
something he said something that aggravated me so much recently about the Star Wars prequels, and like God bless JD Vance, who actually came out in support of the prequels and said that they're underrated. That was like the first time in my life like I felt like, okay, maybe I can trust this guy as
Yeah,
the next commander in chief. Like,
yeah.
okay, CIA contractor financed his entire political career, but he likes he's sticking up for the prequels, and Jack Posobiec is shitting over them. So that was just something I had to
Who
mention.
defended and who weighed in on them first is really what I'm asking. Like
The
who did somebody
who
ask JD Vance and then Posobiec
Oh,
responded to that?
I think how it went was Posobiec started going off on how bad the prequels were. JD Vance responded and said, "Actually, the prequels are underrated." And I was like, "Yeah, go JD Vance or whatever your name is. You changed it 3 times."
It's funny that we
Um,
ended the show about Star Wars last week. I have to tell you that like one of my pet interests is like Carrie Fisher's obsession with Harrison Ford. I don't know if you know anything about
we
this.
talked about this before on an old
Okay.
episode, I
Oh,
think,
really? We
actually.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Carrie
Yeah, yeah.
Fisher was like, yeah, she was like so in just lived like the rest of her life obsessed with Harrison Ford. And like
I can't
right
blame
before
her.
she, yeah, I mean, I can't blame her either. I mean, come on. But like right before she died, like you could just tell that I just think it's interesting that Carrie Fisher just obviously she was just like really traumatized, I suppose, like as a kid and just grew up in this like crazy Hollywood environment. But
Hmm.
she just never really grew. Like she was just such a painfully insecure person like her entire life. But like also a little narcissistic if you actually like dig into her a little bit. Like she
Hmm.
was self-deprecating, but really was because she was like painfully like self-centered and self-absorbed. But I digress. I'm sorry. We went on a little Star Wars,
I
we're
just
in a
had to get
galaxy
that
far, far
out
away. Yes,
because you
no,
mentioned
that's
Jack Posobiec. I thought of that. I thought of JD Vance. One thing I was gonna also say is that I remember as a little kid, I remember saying to my father, I remember expressing to him how when I grow up, I want to look like Harrison Ford. Like that's how I wanted to look like Harrison Ford or like Han Solo as an adult. That's how I pictured myself looking as a grown up. It didn't really turn out that way, but
did
that
you what
what
did your dad say?
I think he kind of like agree. He kind of like affirmed like, yeah, that's a good person to look like. Like, yeah, that's yeah.
That's a
I
good
remember
life
him.
goal.
Yeah, yeah, to
Well,
look like Harrison
if
Ford. Yeah.
Cutter would just pay, maybe you could get some plastic surgery and look like Harrison Ford. Like anything's possible at this point. Or alternatively, we could just live in the pod and your avatar could just be Harrison Ford.
I was thinking about that last night, not about Harrison Ford, but just the whole concept of living in the pod. Because I thought to myself, like, I bet you could live in a world like if you wanted to live in like the 80s, like if you wanted to
Yeah.
be like a yuppie in like 1980s New York City, like Patrick Bateman from American Psycho, and like you could go see like Genesis like on the Invisible Touch tour. Phil Collins, it all comes back to Phil Collins as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you can probably, I bet you'll be able to live if you say, I want to live perpetually in Los Angeles in 1969. I just want that to be my existence. I bet
Yeah.
you'll be able to do that. And God care. Won't that be tempting? Won't that
That
be
will be
tempting?
tempting. Yeah, I listen to a lot of like in the evening when my husband will come home, like making dinner, I put on like these ambiance vintage like 1940s
Mm,
music, like the old like kind of big band but like mellow 30s and 40s music. And yeah, like it's very enticing. Like you just watch and it's so relaxing. You just want to like live in it. I actually saw this hilarious reel the other day of this Irish father, like he was like this Irish older man, gentleman, and he saw like one of those ambiance channels and he was like enamored. He was like, "Yes, that's what it's supposed to look like." Yeah, like he was like so excited about it because it just looked like a like cozy little cottage. And he was like,
yeah.
"Yes, that's not this disgusting gray sterile world." And like, yeah, I'm totally
Yeah, he hit the
he's
nail on the head.
joining us in the pod. Like he's coming with us. But yeah, no, like you said, like you can just like look like Harrison Ford. Um
Hmm.
I can look like J. Edgar Hoover. Like we could just do
Yeah,
whatever we
you
want.
could be Brad, you can look like Brad Pitt and you can live you can like cruise down Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles in 1969 and just really, live life the way like life was intended to be. Um Speaking of ambiance channels, the one that I have on all the time is a Jurassic Park one that somebody made. They have all these different Jurassic Park backgrounds. So there's like, you hear like pterodactyls in the background and like
Well,
dinosaurs
you could live
chirping.
there. You could
Yeah,
just
you could live in
live
Jurassic Park. You
in
could
Jurassic Park. Yeah.
The possibilities are going to be endless, and it's going to be so tempting not to sell your soul and get
Yeah,
involved.
I already feel like though the older I get, the less I'm not saying that's not more that's not enticing
Hmm.
because I've had some medical issues over the years, so it's kind of like yeah, it is kind of enticing.
I didn't
But
know.
yeah, but but I do feel like what's not as enticing is just like the digital world in general. Like the older I
Oh,
get, the less I'm interested in like Instagram and like posting on Instagram and like Facebook. And I mean, obviously, I love Reddit. Reddit is just where I just like to read. It's like my version of talk radio. It's the modern talk radio for me. I just want to hear
hmm.
people's opinions. I want to hear people's thoughts. I love it. Like I absolutely love that connecting with people and hearing their stories or whatever, or people that you can relate to or care about these like niche topics that you care about. But the point is, yeah, I have like less of a desire to like show off my life or be something or do something for the algorithm. Like it just doesn't interest me as much and I'm just
It's
not
exhausting,
interested
isn't
about
it?
yeah, it's very
Just
exhausting and
zaps
it's
your energy. Sometimes I'll give my
yeah.
phone the finger. Like I will catch myself just being obsessed with like mindlessly scrolling through X, which should be banned, by the way. Like I feel like that's the most unhealthy one of all. And I just put my phone down and I'm like, why do you even exist? Like I wish that the cell towers would just go down and
Yeah. Well, yeah, I just yeah, I just feel like I'm less interested in all of it. Like I'm starting to feel more interested in kind of like analog and carbon and
hmm
being
hmm.
outside and just moving and just being present. And I know that sounds kind of um what's the word I'm looking for? Like cliche. Like it really sounds
Hmm.
cliche, but it is truly how I feel. And I think that part of it is just aging. Like I really feel like I recognize that like time is my most valuable resource. I've only got so many years on this earth. And I don't want to like look back and be like, oh, well, I wasted the time I had doing sitting on my phone or looking on
Yeah.
Instagram or looking at reels or wondering why there's all these connections to these certain people on X. And like
I
there's
could have been
just
doing
so many
psilocybin.
yeah, I could have exactly. Casey is going to be giving us all psilocybin, so we'll just be able to connect with others. But I do feel like the reason why we kind of are so much on these apps and everything is because people aren't connecting so much in real life. Like we're not connecting in not even just like physical. I mean, like I even feel like us talking on here is not the same as looking at people's Facebooks, like or talking to people on Facebook. Like this is more a genuine like conversation and like you can hear the tones of the voice and see the face.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think I really do feel like people are kind of addicted to it in a sense because like they don't have the opportunity to get together with people in real life as much because this is just the nature of our universe now. It's just the
It's not how it was
nature.
supposed to be, though.
It's not how
Like,
it's
it's
supposed to
really
be.
unnatural.
No,
It's
no.
ungodly unnatural.
It's hell. Yeah, it's
It's a living hell
absolutely
on earth.
it is. It like truly is. Like and a couple of months back, I guess we'll just like wrap up the story. So like a couple months ago, there was like this girl YouTuber. I'll just give her a shout out. Her name's Kara Nicole. She does these like fun videos about like culture and finance, and I just like really appreciate her videos. So she did a video about like everybody complaining that like Gen Z doesn't want to work, like that Gen Z, like everybody's like, oh, Gen Z just doesn't want to work. These millennials, these whatever, nobody wants to work anymore. And I commented on it and was just explaining that like I am frequently emailing after hours, checking my phone, checking in, being asked, being requested to do things hours after I'm supposed to be off the clock and no longer working. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not the worst thing in the world. I'm not sitting here trying to say that I am like on the bridge over the River Kwai. Okay. Like, I'm not trying to say that it's like, I'm in like a
Yeah.
foxhole in Bastogne. I'm just saying that, like, I technically have closed my office for the day. And then I'm being just at any given hour, I'm being called upon to get back into work and like being pulled back in when I was supposed to be done hours ago. And this can happen like 20 minutes before I'm going to bed. You get what I'm saying? And like, I made a comment just expressing that when my superiors were my age, that was not an option. There were no cell phones. There was no way to get in contact with somebody if they were out on a bike ride. Like, I like to bike ride and I can get phone calls and texts and emails, and I'm expected to
Yeah.
respond to them when I'm on a bike ride.
Just
No,
as
I'm on
Mother
a
Nature intended,
yeah, just
right?
as Mother Nature. Yeah. And like honestly, like, okay, yeah, you could sit there and like don't bring your phone. Like, well, no, I'm a young woman or young-ish
Yeah, what
woman.
if
I'm
what
not
if
that
shit
young
goes
anymore.
down and you need to make an
Yeah,
emergency call, you
exactly. What
know?
if I get hit by a car? Like, there's so many things that can happen. So regardless, so as much as it's like it's nice, I mean, that's nice. That's nice that I have a phone in case of emergency. But on the flip side, I was just trying to make a point on this comment that like that was not possible for 30 years ago. Even like 20 years ago, that was not as common. And somebody replied to me, and I didn't fight with this white hair. I was like, whatever. I'm not getting in a YouTube comment fight. Like, this is crazy. But the person was like, no, we did. We worked and we were able to work after hours or blah blah blah. And people could get in contact with us or something. And I'm like, how, on a landline phone? Like, no, I'm not talking about like I had a liver biopsy and I have pictures, I could show pictures of me sitting on a hospital stretcher with my computer in my lap. I was working before and after I had a liver biopsy. Not only was I working, but I opted to not get sedated because I had to get back to work. Okay. So it's like, no, 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 no. That wasn't possible 20 years ago. That wasn't possible 30 years ago. Like, I'm sitting there texting, emailing while I'm in the hospital. Like, this is crazy. And also too, like, think about it. You're 20 years ago, you take your kid, and maybe 25 years ago, you take your kid to Saturday Little League. Okay. Is your boss texting you? Is your boss emailing you? Is your boss calling
No,
you?
there's no way.
No.
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
1980s, like,
Yeah. The
or the 90s, but
1990s.
yeah,
Yeah.
80s or
Yeah.
90s, there was no way for them to do that.
Yes. And here's where I do want to be fair to the white hairs and saying that some of this is self-inflicted. I really feel like my mother is always like, why are millennials like, why do they want to go to bed early? And like, why do they always seem like tired and all that? And I said to my mom, it's because we're always on. We're perpetually on. We're never getting real rest.
No,
Outside of sleep, we are not getting proper rest. And
constant stimulation
yes,
from
and
every single corner,
yes, and
everywhere.
yeah, and some of it is self-inflicted. So what I do want to say that we do need to put boundaries on ourselves and say like, no, sitting, having your coffee out on your deck with no phone, that is rest. That is just as important as sleeping or going for a walk and not listening to anything, not looking at a text message, not taking a phone call. That is also rest in a sense because your mind needs to rest. It needs to sit there and process everything that's going on and your choices and your decisions and your problems and your struggles. Like all of that needs to be kind of processed and not ignored. And by constantly being on our phones, it's we're numbing ourselves. We're not facing whatever existential crisis or whatever problems we have in our life. But like I said, I think that it's a balance. It's some of it is self-inflicted, but I think what the white hairs need to understand is that no, a lot of it is expected. Like you will lose your job. Like you did not lose your job in 1980 if your kid's baseball game and you're not responding. Like that's not how it was. You were able to shut it off. I remember being a kid in the 90s. I remember my dad getting his first cell phone. But I remember us like on a Tuesday night, like my family would get together and go over like my cousin's house and we would all like hang out together. And like, don't get me wrong, my dad got up early, he worked hard, but at the same time too, like they were able to kind of like shut it down for the day and not have to
Hmm.
be on, if that makes sense. And I don't know. It's not good. We need that EMP. We need it.
I
President
was just gonna
Trump.
say, this is why I have been advocating for we need a new COVID. We need a new COVID, something that's real this time though. Something like an act of God that just like an EMP, something that just cuts off all communication, makes communication impossible. The only thing you'll be able to listen to is like a transistor radio.
Yeah.
It's just we need a break. My God, because if we don't get a break, like what's gonna
Well, the only good thing I can say is that you see Cash Patel. He's 45 years old and he's
yeah,
running the FBI and he seems pretty chill. So
that's
maybe,
true.
do you
So
think he's
maybe
making
we
them
are
answer? Maybe we're
perhaps we
transitioning.
yeah, we're maybe we are transitioning to a more siesta sort of laissez-faire work culture where
Yeah.
you've got the title but you're kind of, you're there, maybe you're not, maybe who knows, and my hope is that Bill Gates is right about this whole AI thing. Like what
I
did
was
he
about to
say?
say AI.
10
Yeah.
years, like we won't even need doctors and surgeons in 10 years. It'll be like you'll be going to see the robot. Like, you know what? Good. Please. Can I get a break? Can we all just get a
Well,
break?
Elon Musk said that not only would we have a universal basic income, but it would be a universal high income, is what he said.
Yeah, good.
So we'll see
I
about that. We'll
God
see.
willing, Elon, take the keys to the kingdom and
Well, it's interesting. I just listened to the Godfather of AI. What is his name? Jeffrey. I can't remember his last name. He worked at Google. He just like won the Nobel Prize. He did an interview with CBS, and they released like the entire like hour-long interview. And I was listening to him talk about AI. And I guess they had talked to him about like 2.5 years ago, and they did an update with him. And he was saying he completely underestimated how good AI was. Like he was like, no, it is going to be so much faster. And he was like, we are living in just a transformative time. Like we are going to be living in history where things are completely changing overnight because of artificial intelligence. And he is the one that came out of Google and said, like, oh no, it's almost like sentient. It's almost like
Mhm.
creating and understanding and almost like self-aware is what he was saying. Like he was almost he doesn't believe that we live in a matrix, but he was saying like, yeah, like he was saying we need to figure out. He said that he agrees with he doesn't agree with Elon Musk on a lot, but he said I agree with him about some of the warnings that he's put out about artificial intelligence. So and the problem right now is that the people that are running all of this and are at the cutting edge, all they're worried about is being first. It's like all of these grifter journalists out there that it's like they don't care about being right. They don't care how it hurts. They don't care if it's wrong. They just want to be first. And I think that that's pretty much what we're seeing I mean, it's pretty much what you saw. Think about the man. I think the biggest thing that we can compare this to is like the Manhattan Project. Like it was about
Hmm.
being first. Was it the right thing to
Right.
do for humanity? Absolutely not. It was, we got to be first. We got to be first. It doesn't matter if
Right. And
we
we've got to use it
blow a
first.
hole in the
We've got to
ozone layer.
demonstrate it.
Yeah, yeah, we've
You
got to
know?
be the first to get to this. So, um, and that's actually it's interesting. He didn't mention the Manhattan Project. I just kind of he had said that artificial intelligence, like we can kind of think about it like nuclear weapons. Like not every country is capable of having nuclear weapons. I think they should all be capable. I think like who cares? Like
That's
whatever.
what my dad always says. My dad's always like, well, why are we the only ones who are allowed to have nukes? Like, everybody should have nukes. Private citizens should be allowed to have nukes. Like, my dad's like very pro, like, every man, woman, and
Nuclear
child should be able
proliferation.
to possess a nucler weapon. So I
Well,
just
I
wanted to
I
mention
agree
that.
with you. Like I've always kind of thought about that myself. Like I'm like, wait, who the hell are we to decide that Kim Jong-un doesn't deserve a nuclear?
Yeah, are we bet like who he's a human being. I mean, if he has the resources and the skills and the power to develop his own nuclear weapon and mount it on an ICBM, then why shouldn't why shouldn't
Yeah,
he
why
be able
not? Why
to?
can't Iran? Why are we in charge of this?
Yeah. And one thing, well, actually, I was going to mention, have you ever heard the song Manhattan Project by the band Rush?
Well, I am familiar with Rush, but I can't say that I'm familiar with the song.
Go listen to Manhattan Project. It's about the Manhattan Project. That's what the lyrics are about. It's
Okay,
off of
okay,
their great 1980, I want to say 85 album Power Windows, which was
okay,
more, they were going for more of like a poppy, synthy sort of a
okay. I
vibe at
like
that
synth.
point, more like closer to like what Genesis was doing. But yeah, go as soon as we're done this, go listen to Manhattan Project by Rush.
Today's
Yeah,
Tom
well,
Sawyer. They're Tom Sawyer,
yeah,
right?
well, yeah. This was after Tom Sawyer. That was
All right.
1981. So this was 85. This was even more, poppier, melodic, dare I say. But go listen to
They
that
need
as
to
soon as.
do an album about artificial intelligence and like
Well, they're
write a
not
song about
together
Elon
anymore, Karen.
Musk. Oh, they're
The
not.
drummer
Dang.
died. Neil Peart,
Oh
who wrote all the lyrics. He's
no. They
dead.
were on the Trailer Park Boys though, weren't they? They were on like an episode where
Yeah,
they like sneak
I believe
in and like
so.
get the tickets. Yeah.
I believe so. But
Um
the one thing I was gonna say, I hope that I live long enough to see us be able to create gravity, because that's going to be whoever harnesses that ability to actually create gravity, they hold the keys to the kingdom. Because gravity, if you can create gravity, you can manipulate time and space, meaning we could travel to like the United Kingdom in like seconds. If we can manipulate gravity, you'll be able to literally travel anywhere within seconds. And that's how they theorize that how these crafts get here from different solar systems and star systems, is because they have that technology to manipulate gravity. So I just wanted to mention that. I hope that AI
well,
helps us to figure out how to create gravity, because that'll truly
yeah.
transform everything about life. Everything.
Well, even like electricity, like Nikola Tesla essentially he knew, which if he knew, he was probably right, that like electricity could just be like created out of thin air. And
Right.
yeah, obviously that's what he was like working on. And I always think that that is definitely going to happen. And honestly, artificial intelligence needs energy. So,
Hmm.
and just like, well, you know who's a great source of energy? We are. So
Yeah.
then we're
And
right back in the Matrix.
and one final point, you
Neo.
know who ransacked Nikola Tesla's documents, allegedly, who got all the documents?
I know Westinghouse was involved with him, but who, the freaking Rothschilds or whatever?
No, Trump's uncle, John, who is the professor at MIT.
Oh,
Allegedly, he got a hold of a lot of those documents that Tesla had for like
that
the
is the
Tesla
first time
cook.
I'm hearing this.
Yeah. Google, just Google John Trump, MIT, Nikolai Tesla. I'm sure you'll come up with all sorts of hits. But yeah,
That does
those
remind
that's
me
your homework,
the
Karen. Look
Do
up
you?
that and then go listen to Rush. Those are the two things I want you to
All
do.
right, I have all this homework to do. Do you remember when Trump said about the sharks or getting electrocuted? He
No, I
asked
don't
his
remember that.
uncle.
No.
It was like at a speech. He's like, I asked my Uncle John, he was a genius, and he's like, I asked him if it would be better to be electrocuted in the water or eaten by sharks or something or like something so bizarre like if you could electrocute the sharks, or it was really,
Hmm.
really bizarre. I don't know. I kind of appreciate that Trump more than I appreciate the Taylor Swift hating Trump.
Yeah, me too.
I like when he's just coming up with these like insane scenarios. And it reminds me of my little brother John. So I just like
Yeah.
he would ask the same questions that Trump asked. And I'm like, I hope he asks like crazy questions like that when he's like in Saudi Arabia. Like he just like asks
I
them
hope
like
so.
bizarre off the wall questions and they're like just give him gold, just give him more
Yeah,
money,
just
just give
yeah.
him a
He
plane,
loves
whatever he
gold. He
wants.
loves
Please don't kill us.
yeah.
Anyway, well it's been fun. I'm
Yeah, it
probably gonna
has.
sleep in like Cash Patel tomorrow. And
Yeah, not do anything, no work. Just chill.
yeah, go arrest James Comey and
Yeah,
call it a
for tweeting.
week. Yeah, for, for his Instagram reel.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all in a day's work, you know. It's all this is these are our leaders. This is the these are the new sheriffs in town. So,
These are the new sheriffs in town. Well, anyway, you have a great evening, a great
I
day,
will.
and I guess I'll close this out. Is that okay? Unless you want to
Yeah, no,
do.
close your eye. I don't have
All right.
anything to say. I'm tired,
I
so
don't, okay. Well, thank you for joining us. And if, unless we get a big fat check from the Qatari government, we will be back next week. So until then, all hail Qatar.
see you next week.